When we think about disease, there are really two different categories of disease that we commonly use. One is the rare disease category, which is usually a disease that is caused by a mutation in one gene and doesn't show up very often. And when it does, it usually has a rather severe effect on a child's life. Approximately 300 to 400 million people are at this point suffering from rare diseases across the world. And 90% of those people do not have the prospect of a cure. So, common diseases, we all know about those: heart disease, Alzheimer's and dementia, diabetes. They're common because they are usually caused by multiple genes that are functioning normally together, and if one of them is somehow offbeat or mutating or doing something wrong, it sets a whole series of imbalances in motion that then produce a disease that we can categorize as a heart attack or a heart disease of some sort, but actually often has many different components. And so the common disease category is much fuzzier. So the idea of rare to common is simply that if we understand more about what it is that changes the what we call penetrance of a rare disease mutation in different people, we might learn a lot about that disease that occurs not just from the mutation in one gene, but from an imbalance of function of many different genes. The problem with rare disease research is that it only affects a small portion of the population. If you think about 300 million people, it seems like a lot, but that's worldwide. And as a result, if you're the parent of someone who has a rare disease, a child that has rare disease, often there is no obvious way to pursue some sort of treatment simply because there aren't that many people working on it or there isn't that much known about it. And so the concept that learning from rare disease about common diseases is one that really has opened the aperture, that will hopefully get more scientists and doctors interested in what actually is a rare disease and how does it work. What's really been a breakthrough is that the advances that we've experienced in genome sequencing and genetic analysis, as well as AI analysis of complex traits. And those kinds of breakthroughs have fueled a more nuanced understanding of how rare to common is a kind of a continuum rather than two different categories altogether, so that we see changes that are common in rare diseases that we then pick up in the more prevalent diseases. And so it's worth a lot to not only to the families who are trying to find a cure for their child, but also to those of us who are interested in the mechanisms that would allow us to develop better treatment.